In the cold dawn of a forest just waking up, the first sound is not the chirping of birds, but the deep roar like a tiger's roar of a steel creature rushing out of the darkness. The light reflects off the shiny metal like royal armor, and as it begins to move, each branch, each patch of earth obediently steps aside to make way for a wordless performance. Wild, yet precise. Rough, yet artistic. This is no longer labor. This is a stage of power, a symphony of technology and nature playing in harmony between mud and rotten wood. Welcome to Woodcarving Artist. Passion, sophistication, the pinnacle. If you've ever wondered what happens when machines are no longer just tools, but become artists, then click register now, because the answer is starting right now. And you, which machine do you choose as your companion in your wood dream? A windless afternoon, in the middle of a deep sleeping forest. Ponsse Ergo 8W slowly rolls out like a beast in a suit. No need to roar. Just look and you'll know. This is not a machine. This is the mechanical declaration of the upper class of the green forest. 8 giant wheels like warrior boots, gripping the ground like glue on a rosewood floor, overcoming mud rocks and rough terrain without asking for permission from gravity. The massive but smooth body like a luxury car on the highway, the crane extends like the arm of a giant learning ballet, grabbing a tree, rotating it once, cutting and dividing it, so fast that the squirrels in the trees have to stop chewing. Inside the cabin is an operating paradise. Hydraulic swivel chair touch control panel screen as big as a living room television, cool air conditioning, absolute soundproofing. You sit there, press lightly. The machine does everything. Feels like controlling a symphony orchestra with a gold baton. Length measuring sensor wood quantification GPS positioning. All work smoothly like a Swiss watch. Almost zero error. Performance that makes other machines line up and bow. Ponsse Ergo 8W does not come to show off. It comes to dominate. Is the choice of those who do not accept limits and want to cut trees with the style of a gentleman in power in the wild world. If you are impressed with this classy machine, please subscribe to the channel so as not to miss the next mechanical legends. Don't forget to like, share the video with your friends who share the same passion, and leave a comment on which machine you want to see next. An afternoon was quietly passing by. Then suddenly, Tigercat 234B appeared like a ferocious beast just released from its cage, making the whole forest hold its breath. This is not an ordinary machine. This is a mechanical artist in the form of a truck, full of muscles and authority. The size is incredible, as big as a container doing weightlifting. The hydraulic arm stretches out like a monster tentacle, moves flexibly like a hip-hop dancer wearing steel armor. Standing next to Tigercat 234B is like standing in front of a battlefield general. Cold, not much talk. But once it acts, everything around has to take a few steps back in respect. When it starts working, picking up a tree trunk as big as a human body, turning it gently, placing it on the vehicle, all happens in a few seconds without anyone shouting instructions. Inside is a powerful hydraulic system. Smart control sensors, combined with an optimized design for speed and precision like advanced mathematics. Tigercat 234B is not only fast, but also extremely precise. Each pick is not off by a single glass. Each put down is as smooth as pouring wine into a crystal glass. This is no longer a machine. This is a symphony of steel. a machine born to control the deep forest. And you just stand there, arms folded, watching it work and feel. Ah, this is true power. One cool morning, when the forest was still silent in the breath of the morning dew, then suddenly, a deep sound reverberating like the heartbeat of a mechanical beast began to echo from afar. Cat 538 LL had entered the scene. No noise, no show. It was simply the embodiment of confidence, coming from strength and top technology, with a majestic appearance like a classic steel guard. 538 LL did not glide but stepped forward. Each stroke of the crawler seemed to stamp its power on the forest floor. The crane was long and flexible. The tongs were as powerful as eagle claws. Grabbed the tree trunk and rotated it calmly. Cut it lightly like strumming a guitar, and placed it down like raising a crystal glass on the banquet table. The Caterpillar engine roared softly, but the force was like a tank going uphill. The hydraulics were so sensitive that you only needed to move your finger for the machine to understand and respond immediately. The control cabin is airtight, soundproof, cool, air-conditioned, swivel chair touch control panel working space that if it weren't for the glass door, you would think you were sitting in a luxury conference room. The Cat 538 LL doesn't come to play. It comes to handle work with a cold and precise demeanor. Every operation is calculated by an experienced person. Every cut is like a statement. I work less, but do it right. In the middle of the quiet, deep forest, where there is only the sound of wind and falling leaves, suddenly a deep sound like the heartbeat of a mechanical monster resounds. Valmet 911.5 Harvester has just appeared, and the trees know that their time has come. Not as big as a tank, but with the neat and muscular appearance of a professional killer. Valmet 911.5 is not ostentatious. It chooses to act neatly and precisely to the point of chilling. The mechanical arm stretches out like the tentacles of a predator, clamping a tree trunk as big as an electric pole, turning it gently. The whole tree falls down in an obedient rustling sound. Its cutting bucket is not simply a saw blade, but a high-speed metal music, where each sawtooth calculates the cutting force like an engineer anatomizing a forest tree. Inside the cabin, the operator sits like a conductor in the middle of an orchestra. Screen, joystick, swivel, chair, air conditioner. Everything works together perfectly to control a brave steel beast. The tree length and diameter measuring system is integrated right into the cutting head, processing data in real time, so that each tree cut is exactly as the individual order. The Valmet 911.5 is more than just a harvester. It is the embodiment of the wisdom and power of the green forest. The choice for those who want to master nature with a calm hand and a cool head. In the middle of the misty forest, a rumbling sound rose up as if from the ground. Then Komatsu, 895, rushed out like an armored meteor, piercing through the trees, carrying a stream of hot air, as if the whole forest was bowing to make way. It was not a car. It was not a machine. It was the appearance of a force that made all of nature stand still for a few seconds. With a body like a monster hybrid between an iron dragon and a futuristic chariot, the body was as tall as a fortress, every detail glittering in the sunlight like living metal scales. Each wheel rotation was like the movement of an ancient creature, slow, but not slow strong, but not ostentatious. You stood there and understood that this was not a machine. This was something that made people take off their hats and bow their heads. Komatsu 895 did not just work, it performed. Its hydraulic arm reached out like a magician, grabbing each tree trunk, as if it could read the mind of the forest wind. The sensor system was telepathic, reading the terrain before the wheels touched it. It alone handled the workload of an entire army with such precision that the engineers had to sit back and review the blueprints. In one shift, it cleared entire forests as if it were caressing the ground. And when it quietly turned and walked away, it left behind not just an empty path, but a sense of having witnessed something beyond logic. This was no machine. It was the silent declaration of an era. While the whole forest was still breathing softly in the shade, then from afar, the Rottne F20D appeared like an armored royal train. Not fast, not slow, but each turn of the wheel was a declaration: we come to bring back wood like a king bringing spoils of war. With a tall stature like a space landing ship, this 8-wheel forwarder did not glide. It split the forest in two but still maintained its elegance. The wheels were as big as war drums, gripping the ground as if rejecting any concept of slippery. The chassis system was flexible like a yoga warrior wearing armor, helping the machine go through mud and steep slopes as if walking on the weekend. The hydraulic crane stretched out like a magician's sleeve, gently picked up a ton of wood like holding a match, turned around, placed it on the truck bed as long as a mini runway behind, without a single extra sound. Only silent admiration from the surrounding forest. The cabin is like a spaceship. Comfortable swivel seats, precise control levers like simulated steering wheels, air conditioning as cold as a European wine cellar. All operations require just a light touch. The rest is left to technology. With a capacity of 20 tons per trip, the Rottne F20D is not just a wood transporter. It is a vehicle of power for those who want to turn each tree trunk into property with just a skillful wave of the lever. And what about you? If you had the opportunity to sit in the cockpit of the Rottne F20D, would you choose to take it deep into the forest, or straight to the biggest stage of the forestry industry? Leave a comment. We want to hear your choice. While the early morning sun had not yet dried the dewdrops on the fields, from afar, a towering green machine approached like a mechanical whirlwind. The John Deere X9 Combine did not come to work. It came to rule the crops with the demeanor of an uncrowned king. Its size was incredible, as big as a moving mansion. The front harvester extended like a chrome-plated shark's jaw, cutting the rice as smoothly as a razor blade grazing a marble surface. The giant wheels rolled through the fields as if walking on a silk carpet, leaving no trace, only silent respect. In operation, the X9 did more than just harvest. It harvested, sorted, processed, and transported, all happening simultaneously like a mechanical jazz piece orchestrated by AI. The optical sensor system analyzed each cluster of cotton, the speed adjusted according to the quality of the rice. Each grain was carefully considered like choosing a pearl for the queen. Speed over 100 tons per hour, with almost absolute precision. Not a single millimeter off, not a single grain off. The cockpit is like a business class cabin on an airplane. Quiet, smooth, classy. You just sit there, sip coffee, adjust your sunglasses, and watch the neat fields as if ironed by magic hands. The John Deere X9 is not just a machine. It's an armored crop manager. Proof that farming can be glamorous, luxurious, and stylish. In the middle of the forest, covered in thick fog, suddenly a metallic roaring sound rang out, and from within the mist the Bandit 2900T rushed out like a meteorite just hitting the ground. The ground shook, tree roots scattered, causing the whole space to stop breathing in a dramatic freeze. Its body was short but solid, like a steel rhino. Each track moved like the body of an ancient creature, growling, rolling through the harsh terrain. And each time the cutting shaft rotated, you felt like you were witnessing a ritual of power. Not a machine, but a creature born to reclaim its territory. Each rotation of the grinding blade was like a brutal dance. The sensor system located each root, reading the terrain like a wizard reading the enemy's thoughts. No need to fumble, no need to adjust. Just a gentle movement. The tree stump, weighing several hundred kilos, was torn apart, crushed. As if the wood had never existed. An hour passed, and the result was equal to 2 days of manual labor. Not a single stroke missed, not a single piece left. Bandit not only crushed the tree stump, it crushed the very definition of traditional labor. And as it silently retreated in the oil smoke, one could not forget that sound. The metallic song of an anonymous emperor who had just passed through the human world. If you are overwhelmed by this mechanical power, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, share your feelings below, and let us know which machine made you exclaim, "Unbelievable." One sunny day, in the middle of a golden field, suddenly appeared a classic yet majestic figure. That was the Fiat 110-90 tractor, a machine that does not need to be flashy, but still makes the whole field stop and look up. Wearing a calm red-brown coat, square like a solid block of steel, Fiat 110-90 does not need to be big to show its power. It is simply the type of machine that, when started, people immediately know it is here to work seriously. 4 round wheels like the muscles of a boxer, the pair of headlights like eyes always looking straight ahead. Each press of the accelerator produces a deep, solid roar like the laughter of an experienced person. The powerful 6-cylinder engine combined with a 12-speed gearbox allows this machine to go through mudrock's deep fields without a single complaint. It doesn't need self-driving technology. It doesn't need modern sensors, but it's simplicity that makes it strangely durable. It still runs, as well as the day it was first built. The Fiat 110-90 is the embodiment of the era of the quintessential mechanical tractor, a hard worker who asks for nothing more than to be given a task and to complete it neatly. No fanfare, no noise. But every time it passes by, people just nod and silently respect it. One quiet afternoon, then suddenly, from the horizon, a giant vehicle appeared like an ancient creature just awakened after centuries of slumber. The versatile 610 DT did not come to ask for permission. It came to plow through the prejudices about conventional tractors. As big as a 3-room apartment, as long as a mini train car, the 610 DT Street oozed there majestically with its fiery red steel frame, tracks coiled around its body like the armor of a modern-day warhorse. Each turn was a declaration. We came to change the whole game. When you stood in front of it, you did not see a machine. You saw a muscular symbol, a taciturn but authoritative leader. Inside was a 650 horsepower Cummins engine. Just hearing the name smelled of arrogant diesel, pulling up hills without needing to gain momentum, going through mud like gliding on a shiny brick floor. Every movement is hydraulically assisted, intelligently directed. The transmission is so precise, you can turn that giant body on a dime, and it's as smooth as a tram on a rosewood floor. At work, it's a tireless plow, pulling tons of equipment with a straight face like it's taking a walk in the park. The versatile 610 DT is more than just a tractor. It's a high-powered beast for the landowner, with style and courage, a companion for those who want to see the fields bow their heads every time they step out. And you, if you had this beast in your hands, would you tame it or let it redefine the way you farm? on the misty mountainside, when the forest trees still stood tall, as if they had never known the concept of fear. Then, from afar, Tigercat LX870D quietly entered like a mechanical predator programmed for a single mission to take down every out-of-place tree trunk. It did not come to perform. It came to finish. With a low, wide body like a steel panther clinging to the terrain. A flexible rotating chassis that allowed it to handle any terrain from mud to steep slopes. The hydraulic arm extended like a secret weapon, embracing a tree trunk as big as a power pole, turning it gently, cutting it cleanly like trimming an eyebrow with a golden blade. Every operation was so precise it was embarrassing. Not a single misstep, not a single speck of dust fell in the wrong place. The engine of more than 300 horsepower operated smoothly without losing its ferocity, like a gentleman wearing leather boxing gloves. The cabin is beyond description. Hydraulic swivel seats, a control panel, as soft as an Italian piano air conditioning, as cool as a Bordeaux wine cabinet. Every experience is designed to make you feel. Not operating a tree feller, but directing a logging campaign. The Tigercat LX870D is not boastful, but when it works, the whole forest has to be on guard. The trees just lean and fall, in a solemn and humorous silence like, it's about time. When the steel giants have stopped beating, the ground is still shaking, still breathing, still echoing, a symphony not for the faint of heart. From the small machine gliding like a dancer to the mechanical warhorse roaring like thunder, all bring a wordless but captivating performance. Each movement is a delicate slice. Each turn is a declaration of power. Are you ready to step into the world where technology becomes art? If so, leave a comment on which machine you want to see next take the stage. And if you want to continue this spectacular journey, don't forget to subscribe to the Woodcarving Artist channel, turn on the notification bell, and share the video to spread the passion for true mechanics. Are you curious about which machine is powerful enough to make the whole forest hold its breath? Discover it in the video posted at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. every day. See you again.